Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be summarizing chapter 9 in David Copperfield. Are you ready? Let's go. As you can see, chapter 9 is entitled I Am a Married Man. Yes, it happened. Dora and David got married. But before we get to that point, you need to know that David got new jobs. Last time we were talking about David Jobs, he had two jobs, two different jobs. He was working at Dr. Strong's house every day as his private secretary, and he got a job at, of course, Mr. Spenlow's office. Now years have passed, and he's 25. He got new jobs. He was reporting what was said in the parliament for the Daily News. He also wrote stories which were published in magazines, and David was making more money, so he supported his family. We mean Miss Bitsy, Mr. Dick, and of course Biggery. Dora did not inherit much from her dad because there were debts, so David didn't worry about people who would say that he married or he would marry Dora for her money. David turned 25. He has become 25. They got married. After their honeymoon, life was not comfortable. As we said before, Dora is a childish person, very irresponsible. She's living in her own bubble. She does not know how the real world works. So Dora couldn't manage the house or the servants. And most of the servants at their houses were not really that good. The last one was the most terrible one. What did she do? She served their meals late. She drank all of their wine and stole their silver spoons before she left their house and never returned. Dora was still the same irresponsible, spoiled girl she had always been, and she told David that he has to bear in mind that she is unable to change and always to think of her as a childish wife. After a while, Dora became ill and she didn't have much to live, and that was heartbreaking to David. She was in a very bad condition. He had to carry her upstairs and downstairs. Miss Betsy took care of her all the time. Okay, moving to another point. Remember when we said that Emily ran away with the Steerforth? Daniel found Emily in England. She was standing on a bridge looking into the water. Maybe she was considering suicide, we don't know. Daniel planned to take her to Australia, which was a new country at the time, newly discovered. No one in Australia knew anything about her past, because what she did was a shameful thing, because she was already engaged to another man, which was Ham. They could start a new life, of course, in Australia, a fresh start. Here are some important quotations that you can find in the textbook. I had no supper at all, and because the beef was burnt last week when Traddle came, the meat wasn't cooked at all. That was said by David to Dora in their house after they got married. She was not taking responsibility for the house or the meals or receiving the guests, and he meant by this part here, let me underline it for you guys, when Traddle came, it was one day when Traddle visited them at their house, and of course the dinner or the supper was terrible because the meat was not cooked at all. So she was not a good housewife. She couldn't manage anything. Just remember, I'm like a child, not as clever as you or anyone else. That was said by Dora to David in the same situation as her response to his words, and proving that she will remain as irresponsible, spoiled, foolish as she has always been. I found her hopeless and exhausted on a bridge looking down into the river. That was said by Daniel to David when he was giving him the great news that he had found Emily and he will be taking her to Australia for a fresh start. Okay guys, that's it for chapter 9. I hope you will read it in the textbook. It's so much fun and it's not a long chapter.